Well, hello world. Welcome to Raccoon Point Studios. I'm Sean Bombs.
I'm Liana.
And this is our recording studio. So today we're going to go over the audio side of what we do here. We offer video as well as audio. Today we're talking about audio. This is our live room. And this is a CNC drum kit. It's a beautiful sounding drum kit. It has a nice deep kick drum. We have a CNC special snare drum as well. And we have a bunch of cymbals here and all that kind of stuff. So we have a lot of baffles behind the drum kit to help with vibration. As you can see, we have tons of windows and tons of natural light. But the problem with having this many windows here is reflections. So that's why you see a lot of baffles here. We can make this room sound huge, because it is huge, or we can tighten it up by using the baffles that we have in here for a tighter drum sound. We just can move things around in here. We have a lot of control of how we treat the acoustics in this room. You can do vocals here, you can do guitars in this room, depending on what you're going for. But we also have a vocal booth, which is a dead room, and we do guitar tracking in there as well. So we have all this fun stuff over here, which is our stands, so we can mic everything properly. So this is all our lines to the control room, which is upstairs, and it makes it so we have 16 channels that we can access in this room at any time. And then our vocal booth is also tied in to the control room. We have mics in here, so we have some Sennheisers. I like the EV voice on kick drum. We have plenty of Shure 57s. Pelusos, these sound really nice on overheads. They are the P84s, and Peluso makes really good recreations of vintage microphones. We also have some Warm Audio 414s, stereo pair that I like to use sometimes for overheads, sometimes for just room mics. We also have some Audio Technica. We have this beautiful fridge right here. So it took me a while to treat this room, trial and error. I built all the baffles by hand and put them up in places where you should put them up until I thought it sounded good, and that's what we did. It's really a privilege to have a good live room. Now, I guess we can move to the vocal booth. You come up the steps, we have a beautiful view. Not only is this a recording studio, but it is a place of zen. Yeah, you can just really create here and not be distracted. The only distraction would be your phone, obviously. Let's take a walk into the vocal booth. We deaden this room so you can track vocals or do voiceovers in here without any ambient noise. We also track our guitars in here. So we have the Marshall, we have a Mesa Boogie, we have Ampeg, we have the Marshall head in the control room right now. We have a Fender reverb, and then we have MIDI controllers, MIDI keyboards. So here we have the Warm Audio U87, but we also have a Peluso 2247 limited edition, which has a Telefunken tube in it, and it is really smooth. I really love that, but I really like this Warm Audio on bitey vocals, like rap vocals. You just get this in your face, like it just cuts through the mix. It's really good. I really recommend it. The Peluso, I think, is great on crooners, even rock singers. One more thing is, if you really wanted that dead drum sound of the 70s, like no room sound, you could bring your drum set in here. We're not just limited to these big bombastic sounds. We can do whatever you need. All right, so over here we have a bunch of guitar pedals, guitars, obviously bass guitars, and acoustic guitar. And then we have all these little amps, because I like to mix them in sometimes for just a different flavor. They actually sound really good for a small little speaker. We have some older drum machines. We have multi-effects units here. We have 4-track tape machine for cassettes. So if you're as old as I am, you'll remember doing this in your bedroom when you were a child. So then we'll go into the control room. The control room is right now also my YouTube studio. So that's why you see this desk right here, and then you see my Fender amp there, and then we have this top-down shot so people can see what's going on. Over here we have two AML 1073 Neve style EQ preamps, and then we have an SSL style bus compressor from Dramatic Audio. It's the Obsidian. And then I have two Neve 542 tape emulators, and they sound great. Tracking through them, I like to put guitars, bass through them, vocals, and then a whole mix through them. And then we have an SSL stereo EQ, the ultraviolet. So this is the SSL UF1, UC1, and UF8. And I use that to control the sessions, so I'm faster. I can just fly through mixing and just setting levels and controlling a plugin and all that kind of stuff. And then over here is an API 1608 with automation. We have it filled with EQs. The first two are API 550Bs, and then these right here are all Cappies, which are based off the API 550. And I built these all by hand, soldered them myself, and everything like that. Any engineer should learn how to solder. All right, so we're gonna go over some of the hardware real quick. We have a Dangerous Music monitor controller, and that's how I can switch between different speakers. It's also how I send audio through my headphone system out in the live room or the vocal booth, as well as I have a headphone jack in here for me. And then we have the patch bay, so that's how I route everything in the control room. I can route things from the live room or the vocal booth, and all of it comes in here, and then I can hook it up to anything that's in here with ease. And then down here we have our conversion, so that's all for the audio to go through before it hits the Pro Tools or Logic or Luna. And then we have over here the SSL Fusion, which I love. It has a bunch of different modules in it. We have the LA2A here, which is a staple, and I use that for bass and chill vocals. I like it on chill vocals. We also have two distressors. I use them vocals, kick and snare. They can do whatever you want them to do. They're like a jack of all trades. And then I have this Valley Dynamite compressor, and I use that for parallel drum bus, and it gives me all the grit and the smack that I want. Then I have this old Yamaha SPX 990, and that's just a multi-effects unit that you would use before you got Pro Tools and got all those fancy plugins. So then you have a Lexicon reverb unit. It's old, it's reverb, it's cool. What I like about it though is the tiled room preset, because we have a tiled live room. And when I put that on snare, it actually matches really well with the sound of that room. And it's really, really awesome. So over here we have the API 2500, and I use that on my drum bus, and I use it to send a whole mix through, especially for like house music and rap music. And then I have this Chandler Curve Bender. That's a monster EQ, and I really love this thing. I'll never get rid of it. I use it on everything, just like hot sauce, you know what I'm saying? And then these 1176s, I built these. They're hairball audios. I use them for bass and vocals, and occasionally smashing like a room mic or something like that for the drums. One last thing is this universal audio aux that I use, especially for tracking myself, but for tracking anybody. If it's a writing session, this thing is awesome because I don't have to mic a cabinet. I don't have to worry about the lines going from one room, getting a microphone, hooking it all up. I could just plug into this, get a sound, and go, and I'm happy with it. And sometimes that'll stay on a record. Sometimes we'll re-record it with real mics and a real speaker, but either way, it's usable. So that is the studio tour for 2024. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you like this kind of content, consider hitting the subscribe button and like it if you liked it so other people see it. Hit the bell to stay notified because we update this channel weekly. A lot of guitar pedals, some synthesizer stuff, drum machines, pro audio, SSL controllers, and all sorts of stuff, even cameras. This whole episode was recorded using the DJI Pocket 3 camera, and I had my intern following me around, and she did a phenomenal job. I think it's a testament to how good this camera is though, because she just literally held it and everything was just fine. Let me know down below what you thought, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, bye-bye.